Right, this is Bubbles here from Sunnyvale Trailer Park, and you're listening to
That's
Band of
fucking
Gamers. And that's a podcast.
I'm using
Can't
that.
get sued, can we?
No,
Fuck 'em.
we're not important enough to
That's
get sued.
fucking awesome.
Hello, you're listening to a Band of Gamers podcast.
Yeah.
How's it going? We are three older best mates with a concise podcast. So you have more time to do what, Shane?
Enjoy your game.
That's right. Keep you updated on what's going on in video games. Get you back to those video games. In this episode, Xbox showed some third-party games ahead of what would have been E3, or part of their E3 presentation. And then the internet erupted.
Naturally.
Does the new Streets of Rage pack a punch?
Or a lunch.
Shane channels his inner Bob Ross while playing the new MLB. I don't know what that means, but Shane, I'm intrigued.
What? I didn't say anything.
We got what we're playing. We've got some easy PlayStation Platinum trophies. And I think at the end of the show, we'll give you a warning. We'd like to chat a little Red Dead Redemption spoilers. I want to talk to Shane. We both just finished this. Get some final thoughts on that guy.
Yeah.
You're all right with
I'll
that,
get my
Karl?
coat then.
You're cool?
Yeah, it's fine by me. I'm only joking.
I thought
Nice.
I thought we'd just hang up on Karl. So we did, because I
Right.
really
Yeah,
just want
click.
Wouldn't be the third time.
Well,
Yeah, that's right.
Joel, your MC, one of your co-hosts, recording in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA, joining me on this journey from across the globe. These guys, my two best mates, first of all, from Vancouver, Canada.
Whoa.
She's a runner, rebel, and a stunner. It's Shane.
Oh, man. Man, I love it. It's hot, man. It's hot out, man. But I got a nice cold beer that's back. So we're gonna have a great show, man. We got some good games. We're gonna spoil stuff. It's gonna be brilliant. Let's do this.
In Birmingham, England. He's bringing the rage. It's Karl.
Oh, I'm bringing the rage. See the thing about me, I'm always angry. I hide it deep down, but yeah, I'm angry this week. Maybe I'm angry at Microsoft. Oh, let's see.
They show a zombie in the trailers.
All right, then let's get right into it. Since you're angry at Microsoft, well, I don't know if you are, but it seemed like everybody else was.
Yeah.
But they did their Inside Xbox, which is a regular program, but this time they had third-party titles, games, bunch of world premieres. Every time I see them splash that world premiere up, I think of all the E3s past, and in my head it's like, world premiere.
I'll do the same thing.
Yeah, I always got that voice, but there was no voice. It was that voice was missing. Apparently that guy's on a break or something. I don't know. But you guys, all three of you watched this Xbox presser of sorts? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, just high level overview of what it was, and we'll get into our thoughts. Started off with your first look at Xbox Series X gameplay. That's good.
Right?
Get to see what next gen's going to look like. About time, right? Then it said every game optimized for Xbox Series X. Okay, it's getting fuzzier.
Right?
I guess what that means is you can play them on both systems, but on their new system, it'll be better. Optimized. Okay. Then they talked about it being, when it started off by saying gameplay, but then a lot of the videos would say things like in-engine.
Yeah.
In-engine will be representational of the final product.
Yeah, what we think it'll look like, basically paraphrasing some of the words. That was a little confusing. My biggest, I guess, question after watching all of this is I didn't hear any or don't recall any Xbox exclusive. I don't recall any of that. So I was stuck scratching my head like, as I'm thinking about which system to get, PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. Or maybe putting it differently, when I watch E3 and there's a new console coming out, especially when you've got two new consoles coming out. Kind of A and B them, you compare them. You wonder, you see what's coming out on one and not the other, I guess is really important this time of announcements or E3 if it would have happened. But I didn't really leave knowing anything about what Xbox is going to have different from PlayStation after watching that. But it looks like it. I see in the show notes. Karl, did you look these up? How did you figure out which were the console exclusives? Because I don't recall seeing that during this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a little bit of digging just around various websites and social media afterwards. There are a couple of console exclusives on there. We didn't see a lot of them, but and I wasn't too mad. Microsoft did. I was only joking at the beginning. There are a couple of games I quite liked. The theme of some of these games. A lot of them look like horror kind of, survivally grown-up games, if you like. Stuff that I think you'd typically have seen on No, serious point. Like, the stuff you would have seen on the Xbox, like the 360 and the the Xbox One to a lesser extent, I think, were kind of people when the console wars were getting into it again, and people were saying, well, the Xbox is the kind of the grown-ups console, PlayStation for kids, whatever. But it was quite good to see a couple of these more serious-looking games. Scorn, that looks like a very Alien-inspired game. It literally just had a trailer in there, but it kind of piqued my interest a little bit. I thought, okay. I got kind of excited for Diablo 4, just looking at a CGI trailer and all the rest of it. But knowing what that game would look like, I can put it together in my head. Something like Scorn, don't really know, but it is a console exclusive. The Medium was the second one, which is I think it's from some of the previous Silent Hill developers. So when it kind of came up on the screen, I was thinking, there's a Silent Hill game. Maybe that's an exclusive. But it does look like it's going to be something along the same lines. Look pretty cool, pretty dark again. And both those are the Series X exclusive, so you won't be able to play them on the Xbox One X or whatever other version of this that they do. And then the only other one was a game called The Ascent, which is like an action RPG, very much in a kind of cyberpunky mold. They did show it did look like gameplay, to be fair, but whether it was just, again, in engine footage, kind of like the little marine man running along, there's a bit of tactical shootouts and stuff like that. But that's also coming out on Xbox One as well. And I think they're all coming to PC anyway, but console exclusive wise, those are your three.
So you answered the console exclusive between Xbox One and Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
What about between Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5?
Yeah, none of these are on PlayStation. Whether they're timed exclusives or not, I don't know, but they're certainly only on Xbox at the moment.
Huh. Okay. That Scorn, that game that you mentioned, had that H.R. Geiger kind of look to it. That looked really intriguing. No gameplay, I don't think. It all looked like cinematic. But I really like the art style of that. Very creepy and totally reminded me of H.R. Geiger, like in that same art style.
Yeah, definitely.
And the Medium, I thought that looked really cool. And they did call out the fact that it's the same music person, director, or orchestrator, or whatever the hell you'd call that, behind Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So
it's important, it's all part of setting the atmosphere. So it certainly looks like it. Both of those games, although they're only trailers, they did get me intrigued. I must admit, I was like, okay, I'd like to see more of those. And hell, an action RPG, where I'm like with Diablo and all that. So
they had that first game they showed was Bright Memory Infinite, which looked like a pretty cool looking shooter. A lot of action, some good looking guns, some good looking gunplay. Wasn't your Call of Duty, wasn't your army style shooter. It was more like sci-fi action style shooter. Then they showed a clip of getting into a car and taking off into a car. Not just straight shooting. I thought that looked pretty cool as well. And then after they showed the trailer, they had a guy, I forget his name, I don't recognize him, talking about how that game is being developed by one person, which pretty much blew my mind, because a lot of the one person games are usually pretty basic, archaic style games. This easily looked like a team had put this one together. So that was interesting.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a high-end PC, like a tech demo, rather than a one-man band. I quite like the freezing mechanic. When he was going through shooting a few dudes and he knocked a guy up in the air, froze him in place, and then kind of whipped out his melee weapon and chopped him into bits and stuff. And I was like, okay. And it all looked very nice, nice lighting and all the rest of it. So who knows? It's only engine stuff, but again, that looks like it's coming out on everything. Could be one to look out for.
A Yakuza game, Like a Dragon, which at first I thought might have been a complete side project where it wouldn't matter to all the Yakuza fans. But then I read into it a little bit more, dug in, and it sounds like it's right in the normal timeline. And I didn't realize this will be the first Yakuza game that's launching on Xbox on day one. They tend to get all this stuff way after PlayStation, right?
Yeah, they do. And it was historically a PlayStation exclusive, going back to the genre for a while. This one surprised me more so the fact that series that they love and the West has kind of adopted, and the Xbox obviously isn't big in Japan, so it kind of surprised me that this was coming out as a bit of an exclusive or timed exclusive, I guess, rather than coming out on the PlayStation. But looks cool. I mean, the Yakuza games, I've only really played one of them, Zero, and it was a lot of fun. I haven't finished it yet; it's in the backlog. But yeah, the Yakuza game.
That's a good launch title too.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because it's a little bit different. You don't usually get something like a Yakuza game around launch. Usually, you get your big name, shooter, your Call of Duty or Battlefield kicking it off and whatnot, or it's usually just the larger, AAA titles or whatnot, or third party titles. So yeah, this is a nice little change. Throw that in there, yeah, something a little different.
They showed a Madden game. Yeah, that's exciting. The new Madden, which they revealed will be coming to the Xbox Series X. Duh.
Oh yeah, what was it? They had that Mahomes in there, and it's great. What was that quote he said? You got to see where you're from to know where you're about to go or something. It's like, oh, like come on, man, like that's not the saying. That's not how it goes. But the game, I mean, Madden's always great, right? Whether it's there's the little things we could always nitpick at and whatnot, but it's always a solid game of football, though, right?
Yeah. I love the new Madden for about 4 hours, and then I never play it again and regret my $60. But the last 5 years, I think that's the routine.
Yeah,
sadly. But Patrick Mahomes did say that if you buy it on Xbox One, which I'm sure it'll be there first, the Series X is probably going to be a month or two behind, you'll get it included with your Series X. So I guess that's that smart delivery they're talking about.
Yeah.
You buy it once and it's available on all of them. That's kind of a good deal, I guess. I don't know how much different it'll look on the Series X. If it doesn't look any different, then who cares? Right?
Yeah, let's face it, you're not buying Madden or FIFA just for the looks, are you?
Yeah, but on a new controller or whatnot, because I'm sure the Series X controller will be quite a bit more comfortable and better than the One X one. And I'm not shitting on the One X controller. I'm just saying naturally they're going to be better. They get better every generation, so it'll probably feel better and might be a little bit tighter sticks in there. Maybe find this might be the 6-hour Madden for you, Joel. I mean, who knows?
Right? The big question is, am I going to be a sucker for the 6th year in a row and buy the $60 Madden? I got EA access. I probably should just wait like whatever amount of time it takes before they put it in there. And they give you 10 hours for free with EA access. You can play the game for 10 hours before they yank it down and make you have to buy it. That's probably sufficient. I'll play the full game. I got 10 hours with it. Not spend my money on it. But then again, my game shelf has all the Maddens for, years and years. So
yep, gotta go buy it, man.
Got to put it up there too.
The streak, right?
Right?
If I'm buying Shell every year for 20 something years, when it comes out, you can at least buy 6 Madden games.
They did show all the old Maddens. That was kind of cool. They went back and showed some of their early stuff. Little nostalgia there. It was all right.
Joel, you're probably like me. The favorite Madden being 94.
Oh
95.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Back when the ambulance made its way to the field.
Right.
Those are the best.
The little stretcher'd come out.
Yep. Be happy when your dude got hurt. Like, cause you get to see the ambulance. Like, yes. All right, my quarterback's out. I get to see the ambulance. Kick ass.
It was like making Wayne Gretzky's head bleed back in the day.
Oh. I don't know. Any highlights? Anything else you guys highlights from this thing? Games you saw that really were interesting?
The new that Dirt 5 looks cool, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm not a big dirt fan. I'm not a fan of off-road racing. Not a rally fan at all. However, Dirt 5 looks, and it gave me a lot of MotorStorm vibes. And we know a lot of people that worked at Evolution Studios are now rocking over at Codemasters, and they've done some cool stuff there. There was that Onrush game is very MotorStorm like. Getting those vibes from this one. This one might be one to get me back into the series. Who knows? We'll see. But it actually looked really, really cool. I like the crowd design. This is another one where it was in engine, whatever that means. But yeah, it looked pretty sharp. Looked sharp, man.
Nice. I think for me, probably Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Seems a bit of a strange direction to take Assassins into. The legendary assassins that were Vikings, rather than just running up and beating people around the head with a big axe. But I just installed Odyssey and stuff. I played a little bit of it. This is going to be probably my next backlog game to go through. So it's brilliant what I played. So I think the Valhalla does look cool. And obviously, it's set in a bit of England as well, in different locations, and it looks nice. So probably out of all of them, that was one of the ones I was a little bit curious about, just to see how they work that into the lore of the Norsemen and all that. So, yeah.
This happened during the workday, at least for me in the U.S., assuming for Shane there in Canada. I don't know about you, Karl, if it was early evening when this thing was airing on your side.
It was at 4:00 in the afternoon. So I didn't get to watch it live. I'd planned my work day around that a little bit. I was like, I'll take a bit of a late lunch, and then I ended up having a conference call at 4:00. So it didn't quite work out. And I couldn't really look at that while I was on the leading that call. But I'd watched it after, I had a good look at it. And I loved the look of that Series X Xbox. Like I said, I wasn't really into getting one, but man, that looks really nice.
I was working. I was intrigued. Kind of in the middle of the workday, or every once in a while, I would check Twitter, as if like E3 were going on. You're at work, and you just kind of want to see what's going on, what new games were announced, and then later you'll circle back and watch the videos. So I turned on my Twitter. I just wanted to see what was happening. I couldn't stop everything and watch it, but I wasn't gonna hold out until the end and then follow up later. Nothing was going to be spoiled for me. I didn't care. Just wanted to see what was happening. The excitement. I wanted to share in the excitement for a few minutes until the later point when I could sit down and be excited myself and watch these videos. And what I instead encountered was a bunch of people complaining. That's all it was. My Twitter feed, I could really glean nothing from what was happening other than, you said this was going to be gameplay. Everybody was just complaining. And I don't know I'm not saying it's the people I follow on Twitter, because those people retweet stuff and you get all sorts of other stuff that gets in your feeds, right? But the general buzz, all I could get from Twitter was disappointment. That was about it. I still followed up and watched it, and I thought it was fine. I don't know. What'd you guys think? Did you disappointed?
About the actual press conference, disappointed?
No, like your own opinion. Were you sitting there like a lot of these people, like, oh, how dare you?
Not at all. And that's a big reason why I've stopped going online during a lot of these conferences and whatnot, and looking at people's reaction, because all it is, it just turns into a mud fest, and I don't want to be part of that. I don't care. Form my own opinion. But watch the show. It's always replayed. It's on YouTube. Anybody can go and watch it. See what you think for yourself. Make your decisions with your wallet. But yeah, I don't want to really get into it, but that shit is frustrating. Doing video game podcasts and whatnot. We love our games. We love enjoying our games. And there's a lot of shit out there. And a lot of it comes in from a lot of gaming podcasts as well. They're A lot of them out there are definitely part of this problem. And you don't like it, you shut up, move to the next thing, find something you do like. But people mean they got those thumbs limbered up and they just start flinging, and it's just you're talking trash. That's fine. You can talk trash, do whatever you want. I'm putting the blinders on, staying away from it. I don't need that. I don't need that poison and negativity. Let's see what's out there. Let's make our own decisions. End rant.
Yeah. I'm the same. Like, I can't, as someone who doesn't really care what people think generally, I like when something like this rolls around, I'm like, okay, I'm just there to enjoy it. Like the stunts that they made with just showing, engine footage and, what it will look like and all the rest of it, it's no different than Sony's approach at E3, where they show a load of trailer after trailer after trailer, and there isn't any gameplay at that point either. I think it's just because there was that expectation. It's like anything. You're like, there might be a bit of gameplay, and everyone like, oh yeah, it's going to be ace, and then people jump on, and it's the level of expectation of people. You tell them, and we can see this at the moment in this country. Give people an inch and they take a mile. Tell people to expect a tiny thing and they expect a massive thing. So yeah, it's all down to public perception. It didn't bother me at all. I thought it was fine. And the fact that they're going to do this every month, that leading up to that Xbox launch, that there's going to be a monthly update, and you'll get gameplay, you'll get a price point, all that stuff will come. Just people need to chill.
Should follow your guys' advice and not look at it. Just wait. So what'd you do? Just go fire it up yourself, watch it, completely avoided social media until that moment?
Well, I didn't completely avoid social media, but I just waited. I watched actually watched the press conference yesterday and then went through it again this morning as a little refresher, because that's what we do here at Band of Gamers. We get prepared and bring you the highest quality of gaming podcasts that you can find.
Sold. I'm downloading this show.
See, there we go, man. No, yeah, I just wait. I don't go searching for it, and luckily, there's not I don't see a lot of that in my feed. Very particular about that, and you got to make Twitter your own, and or social media feeds, your own. So I just surround it by the least amount of negativity as possible. Yeah, there's always something that's going to bleed in there. I mean, it's part of how the game works. I get it, but minimizing that, and then just going in and watching it for myself. Maybe even give it a day or two. You don't need to see it right away. So
absolutely right. And as always, you can always use it as a a little learning point and just bring forward that spring cleaning of your social media accounts, which I do. Every couple of months, just have a little refresh, just to unfollow a few, follow a few new people, try and get that bit of positivity in there. It's hard work because, people just generally have a whinge, but, I'm quite happy to do that. I like hitting that button. Boom.
I've done that with my Facebook. I've unfollowed most everybody. Not unfriend, but unfollow. The polite way of getting them out of my hair and not looking at their stuff, right? And they don't know it's cool, and then I feel better when I'm on Facebook. I last maybe 5 minutes rather than 4 minutes or 3 minutes. I turn it on and it takes another minute or two before I'm completely disgusted and turn it off. And Twitter's becoming that. So I don't know if I follow maybe, let me guess, 100, 150 people. I'm not looking at it right now. That's just a guess. And maybe I need to trim that down. That's probably some good advice. Do you guys, is that it really? Unfollow and stay away? I mean, seriously though, I was seeing a lot of people I don't follow. I don't know if it's like them retweeting it or them replying to it, or if it's just Twitter's algorithm now has gotten disgusting.
That algorithm is gross, man, on Twitter now, because you don't see the things that you want to see from people, especially if you are on a different time zone like me. I'll pop in and, my American friends or Canadians or whoever you may be, you've had your stuff, you're in bed or whatever. And I just see stuff that people have liked, and it's crap half the time. I'm like, I don't want to know which of the people I follow are liking some random woman's OnlyFans page or whatever. Like, I ain't interested in that. Like, I want to turn.
Dude, just subscribe, man. It's awesome.
Just subscribe. No, dude, I'm not. You got to stop it. But yeah, I can't. I have to do a little cull every now and again. And I mute a lot of people on Twitter as well. Not necessarily because I don't want to know what they're doing. Like I'll unmute them if I need to know a bit of an update about something. I do tend to do that with like, with game devs and stuff. Like, once the games come out, just pop my mute for a bit and then, unmute as stuff comes out. It's just a way of just trimming your traffic down more than anything else.
I don't mean to make this a social media rant, but every time I'm hovering over that unfollow button on Twitter, maybe you're not like annoying or maybe you're not overly negative, but maybe I just don't want to see your stuff or we're not like personally connected anymore. I haven't talked to you in 5 years or whatever. And then that person, you see a tweet from that person that's like, 4 people unfollowed me and 8 people followed me as tracked by blah, blah, blah.com. I'm thinking, oh, great. Now they're going to see I unfollowed them and I feel like a jerk. Like I follow them out of guilt because they use some stupid tracker. Oh, man. What's up with that?
That's their stuff. If they're bothered about someone unfollowing them on a social media platform, that's on them, dude.
Yep.
What's up with them trackers? Well, who cares? Why do you care who unfollowed you? Why do you got to have a tracker? What's up with that?
I don't, dude.
Have a beer. Relax.
You're preaching the choir, son.
Good grief. All right.
No.
So, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to clean it up. But anyway, so there's a guy, and I'm not going to say who it is because I don't really want to call him out, but there's a guy I respect on a different podcast. I've been listening to him for years and years and years and years. Yeah. And he's usually unbiased, and he especially doesn't get into console wars. He's actually one of the people out there like console wars are garbage and
nice. Yes.
And that's why I'm like, okay, let me just go check his feed because he's going to like be the unbiased, more positive person out there. So I go look at him and he's like, if they wouldn't have set the expectations so high, maybe everybody wouldn't be so mad, is what he said. So even he was irritated. And then I saw Aaron Greenberg, who's the head of marketing for Xbox, responding to people on Twitter. And then everyone grabbed it and retweeted it and liked it or whatever. So it's showing up on my feed. But he said, and I quote, "Have we not said anything and just shown May Inside Xbox show like we did last month, I suspect reactions might have been different. Clearly, we set some wrong expectations, and that's on us. We appreciate all the feedback and can assure you we will take it all in and learn as a team." I didn't see these high expectations going in. They didn't really say a whole lot. No. He's like out there defending it,
It's not like they were like, instead of E3, this is what we're doing. You're going to find everything out about this console. It's just like, yeah, we're going to share some new games. Like, and yet they did say there'll be gameplay. Maybe they shouldn't have said that, but when they said that, I wasn't thinking, oh man, we're going to see loads of first-party games and gameplay from them. I was thinking there'll be one game in there, like a third-party title, like a Madden or something, and you'll see some in-game footage. I wasn't expecting big things. I think people just need to calm themselves down.
People got to realize nowadays it's the minority that are typically the loudest. So it kind of bugs me when big companies and whatnot, and they kind of put out stuff, kind of like this tweet and whatnot, like, oh, we're working with you. Well, like it's a vast minority that get upset about stuff, right? Like the Christmas songs and whatnot, and they pull it because "Baby It's Cold Outside" because 2 people in Wichita got upset about it, and now radio stations are banning all this stuff, and it's like, well, hey, not like, don't pay attention to it. Do what you do and do what you do best. Then we'll get the best product that you'll be putting out. And to me, that's what I think is important. I always think, get rid of console wars and whatnot. Just put out your best, where you want to take things. Let's see where you want to take it, because that's where things will be the best for your company or whatnot. Like,
I think all they said.
I disagree.
Of course he does.
I'm going to make a petition at petition.org. Make sure you go and sign it. It's my right.
All they said was they're going to show some new games.
Yeah.
That's it. And even in his tweet, he said, we had we not said anything and just shown May Inside Xbox show like we did last month, I suspect reactions would have been different. He's not admitting that they hyped it. He's just admitting that they said it was something that was coming, and why not? They should say that. They should put a little excitement out there.
Agreed.
We're going to show some new games. You're going to see some gameplay from Xbox Series X. Tune in. Everybody freaks out. Whatever. I've obviously, my Twitter needs a haircut more than my hair needs a haircut.
Whoa.
Apparently.
No, your hair's looking good, buddy.
Yeah, no, it's real long. All right. Red Dead Redemption 2. I finished it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did it.
Totally.
Right?
It's a sense of accomplishment. It does. And then I looked at how many hours I played it, fired up the Xbox app on my phone. It was over 110 hours. It didn't feel like that at all. It felt more like 40 or 50. I did restart it at one point. I was like halfway in, maybe. But I started over because there was like a 2-year gap, and I just wanted to experience the full story, not start over and have it be fuzzy from the beginning. So that jacked up my time a little bit. But obviously I had a good time with this game if I played it. Me, the guy who can barely finish a game, spent 110 plus hours on Red Dead Redemption 2. And Shane,
That's
you were
fantasy star action for you, man.
Totally. Pixel junk, monsters even. I don't know how many hours I spent on that. I'm grateful it's not tracked. But when the story picked up, like Shane said, and like my buddy Vince said that I mentioned previously, once that story gets going, man, you just suckered right in, and I could not put it down. So I was playing in the morning before work. There was one morning where I start work usually about 8. It was 9 o'clock. I'm still playing this. Like I just could not put it down. I'm like, I'm working more of a 9 to 6 today. I'm not doing an 8 to 5. I'll shower in 20 minutes. Like, and then I just kept like playing it. And then I got to last Saturday, and I felt like I maybe had 2 or 3 hours left. Not exactly sure, but I was in the second epilogue. Played it all day. I mean, I got up and did some things and did some yard work. I didn't sit in a couch all day, but it was a good 4 or 5 hours in the morning, another 4 or 5 hours at night. No, my wife and I were going to hang out. I'm like, I'm just going to go beat this game, and then we'll hang out. 11 o'clock rolls around. I'm still playing. We're not hanging out. I got to get through this. I want to put this one down. And the writing I thought was superb. Really liked the writing. And then, yeah, it probably borrows from a ton of old Westerns and movies and things like that. But there are some good twists and turns there at the end that I didn't see coming. And they were good. I thought the writing in there was excellent.
Nice. Good on you, pal. It's a lot of game.
And then I tried playing Far Cry 5 after, and it just felt like a piece of garbage. Like, did not feel good. Far Cry 5 is probably a fine game, but after you play such an epic, well-written, greatly crafted, in fine detail, tons of development hours, tons more than any other game, put into a world, and then you go to another world where you're just getting attacked by a bear randomly.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little tough to go to. So I put that one down. Like I can't do Far Cry 5 right now. It seemed really kind of shallow and clumsy compared to Red Dead.
That's why I play RPGs, dude. With the story and the quest lines and just the lore, just the level of storytelling. So good.
Never been a big RPG guy, but now that you say it that way, that's actually selling it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So later on, end of the show, let's chat, Shane, a little bit more Red Dead Redemption 2. I also checked out on Apple Arcade. There's a game called Skate City. I know I sent my pals here a couple of videos. I'm having some fun with that. It's pretty linear. It's left and right. It's not 3-dimensional. You can only go forward. Then you flick your controller sticks for different tricks. The right stick is kind of your front foot side of the board, and the left stick is your back end or your typical ollie side of the board as you're going left to right. But you can do some different tricks, hit the right and left one to kind of do some spins. Took some getting used to. I so desperately wanted this game to be Tony Hawk. You know, I wanted all those button presses that I'm familiar with Tony Hawk. But pretty cool little game.
It's got a bit of like an Ollie Ollie vibe to it. Very, kind of, side-scrolling kind of way. Seems a bit more, I'm great with words.
Like an endless runner from left to right.
A little bit. And there's some good challenges in there. Like there's different cities that you go through. And then there's all sorts of little mini challenges, little 2-3 minute jaunts to get some scores or get chased by a cop and escape the cop. And it's a fun little game. I'm not sure how much more of it I'll play. Apple Arcade's like $5 a month. I'm not sure I'll subscribe again. But I just needed a palate cleanser after trying Far Cry and just give me something really kind of quick and easy. I had a little bit of fun there with that Skate City. Wanted to check out Apple Arcade. That's it for me. Now I'm on to figuring out what I'm going to play next. Got a few ideas. Shane, you want to talk about what you're playing before Karl gets into his review of Streets of Rage 4?
I picked up MLB The Show 20. Yeah.
What?
Picked it up last year too and the year before. And I think the year before 17 because I still have it only because Griffey's on the cover and I got the really cool steelbook. And Ken Griffey Jr. is one of the greats. But yeah, MLB Show 20. Man, this game looks gorgeous, man. This is the best one yet I've played. You know, they've made some tweaks here. Not a huge difference from last year, but everything just seems, tighter, smoother, slipperier. The textures. One thing I noticed is the textures right away, like outfield signs and whatnot. They're used like a little bit kind of glossed over and whatnot. Now they seem a little bit more realistic. The jersey textures are really fab. Players' likeliness are really sharp. Looks beautiful game of ball. Beautiful game of ball. And I always seem to when I play my first game is always like the best game I've ever played in MLB. Like last year, my first game, pitched a no-hitter. I mean, I wasn't against a very good team. I think it was the Pirates or something, but whatever. I went in and first game had a no-hitter into the 9th, boys.
Wow.
Into the 9th. 2 outs away. And I got a fly ball to right field. And it was one of those, like it was like shallow right. So I thought it was going to put me into the first baseman to trail back and grab it. But it put me at the right fielder. And I couldn't get there in time.
That sucks. Come on.
Dude, all night, I had the brush out. The brush was out. If you could find a corner, consider it painted. It was all night long, man. I had some decent bats going. It wasn't a blowout or anything. I think it was like 3 buzz or something. But man, I was pitching. I had 21 Ks. Unbelievable.
Damn. What team? What pitcher?
Buddy, DeGrom, man. Best pitcher in the game right now. Jakey boy. No. Yeah, no, they're great. Playing as the Mets right now. Love them. Really awesome. Pete Alonso's a beast in this game. It's unbelievable. Man, hitting dingers with that sword. So yeah, no, but all in all, it is a really great game of ball. I'm really happy with it. Playing it, almost every day, get a game in or whatnot. It's so good. Everything you do in it, they kind of picked up from last year's where everything you do kind of counts towards your Diamond Dynasty and whatnot, and you get in card packs and whatnot. Really easy. They have nailed how to do this when it comes to like card packs and all that stuff and unlocking players. MLB The Show is the best at that. They really have fine-tuned it. They've made it easy. There's all sorts of different ways you can do it. There's something, kind of for everyone that whereas like in like Madden, and I'm sure it's very much like NHL and FIFA where it's a grind. Like, I mean, they're just taking bucks from you. That's it. You got to buy, card packs and whatnot to really get anywhere. It's really tough. But this one, whatever mode you like, it's something they'll put it towards there. And before you know it, you'll have a couple packs on hand and whatnot. And they throw in some diamond rated players, some greats from yesteryear, Ozzie Smith and whatnot. You get in there, Ryan Sandberg, Dennis Eckersley, Jim Abbott. Where am I going with this? Earl Hershiser?
Hopefully naming some Brewers at some point. Anyhow.
Ricky Henderson. It's No, it's just I'm loving this version of it this year. Really, 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 really good stuff. So
I like the sound of
fun
that,
game of
man.
ball.
I like the sound of that. EA is like horrible with those card packs.
Oh,
Everybody I talk to that gets into that, I've never played that side of the game. I have no idea. But lately, NBA 2K, different developer, obviously, different publisher. The neighbor kids are out shooting hoops, and they're like referencing Muggsy Bogues and all these players from the past. And finally, I'm like, what? You guys watching old YouTube clips or what? How do you know about all these old players from when I was a kid? And it's like 2K,
right?
2K, they're all in 2K. I'm like, oh my God, I need to play some 2K like quickly. I love when they throw in those old school, like legendary players. That's a great touch.
Yeah, all the guys that we kind of grew up because we're three older best mates. So yeah, it is cool to see those. Gary Payton.
Oh yeah, trash talking Gary Payton.
Right, legend, man. Clyde the Glide.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's really really cool that they bring him back, and they got their likeliness, and they do it cool. But yeah, great game. Been super happy, super happy with this year's.
Awesome, man.
Talking of great games, Streets of Rage 4.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah. I must admit, I was a little bit apprehensive.
really?
A franchise that loyal people really loved and kind of just grew up on, I guess. I thought I'm going to get this game. I'm going to pick it up. Obviously, I've played the first three to death when I was a kid. Me and my buddy Chris, we used to, in school holidays, we had 6 weeks holidays in the summer, and we both had Super Nintendos. We were Nintendo boys, really, and the video shop up the top of the road, he used to hire out Mega Drives for like a week. So one week we'd badger his mum for a couple of quid. Next week we'd badger my mum for a couple of quid. And, we pretty much played Streets of Rage for about 6 weeks, solid.
Nice.
Such a good game. So I had all these nostalgic memories, and I've got them on the Genesis still now, and I still bust the cartridge out every now and again. And I was worried that, maybe they didn't quite do it justice. But pleased to say, it's a fine beat 'em up. It really is. It's set 10 years after Streets of Rage 3. So Mr. X has been defeated. His kids, creatively titled Y and Z, have popped up to run the business. And they face opposition from some of the original characters, some new ones in there as well. It's a nice little mix. Axel's back and he's a bit chunkier. We got that old man beard going on, and bit of weight around the middle sort of thing. He doesn't move that quickly.
Well, dad bod.
Blaze is back, looking pretty good as ever. And a couple of new characters, really. Cherry, who was Adam's daughter from the first game. She can zip around, wielding a guitar, just smashing people up with it. And she's kind of got a dash ability, like in the original games, you couldn't run. If you double tap right or left, you could then, as they went on, you could sprint and stuff. So she's kind of got that from the ones that you can play with. And there's another dude whose name escapes me. He's just a big butch geezer, just a strong type, I guess. This game is on Game Pass. I urge everyone to play if they haven't already. I didn't realise it was coming to Game Pass, so I bought it on PS4 like literally the night before it came out because I wasn't sure. So if you're on PS4, hit me up if you want to play some co-op. It's Streets of Rage. Like it plays exactly the same as it did all them years ago. There's a few different features that are a little bit different. Special moves do drain your health like they always used to. But now you can kind of earn that health back. There's a bit of a combo risk-reward system to the game. So you can spam a couple of special moves and your health bar will fill up with like a green colour. And if you can then connect and put a few blows together, you can earn that health back. So kind of think like Bloodborne. You go in, it's risk-reward. Go and try and get a few hits in. Get that health back. If you do get hit, obviously you lose all that health that you've lost from the special moves. But considering you used to lose it anyway, I think it's kind of a good idea. Something to throw in there. It does make the game a little bit easier because it is a tough game. This is a difficult beat 'em up. I don't know whether my skills are just waning, but I had to bump it down to easy to get through it. Nice. So I'm sure practice makes perfect, though. I'm definitely replaying this a few times. Weapons are back. Like there's a ton of them. There's an absolute plethora of them. You can now throw a weapon at an enemy as well. So you can chuck it, and anything other than a knife will bounce back off them, and you can catch it again midair and continue to throw it and fight with it until it breaks. A lot of different weapons, like long range, like big long pikes, grenades. Yeah, loads of different things that you can pick up and use. You collect cash as you play through, like you did before. You pick up the health. Cool thing actually, in the menu, you can amend what the health looks like when you pick it up. So, like, if you don't want to be picking up the turkey and the little apples and stuff, you can pick up a salad or a pizza, like whatever you want to change it to, which is just a fun little thing to do with it. But you collect these as you would normally. The cash collection actually counts for something. As the points accumulate, you can earn extra lives through each level. So you kind of start each level static, and then as you collect stuff on that level, you can unlock an extra life, which is needed, to be fair. There's also a lifetime experience bar as well. So when you finish a stage, you'll earn XP according to how well you did in that level. It'll give you a rank in terms of how well you've done. There's a couple of stars on each level as well, which you collect, and it does like an ultra power move. It helps you out in a pinch, like it can be good against the bosses and stuff. If you carry those through to the end of the level and you finish with a couple of unused ones, you get a bit of a bonus, a bit more XP. And as you fill this experience bar up, you unlock new characters or old characters, depending on what you're doing. It's such a fun brawler. Like all the things that you enjoyed about Streets of Rage are here in this one, but without feeling too ploddy. I did enjoy a couple of the kind of new scrolling brawlers over the last few years, which people have tried to make. And they kind of don't have that replayability. I'm not finding that with Streets of Rage 4. I've picked it up an awful lot, actually, and just got into it and played quite a bit.
Oh, with it being on Game Pass, it's a no-brainer. I played 1 and 2 quite a bit on the Genesis. I never played 3. They came out after I kind of gave up on that thing.
Yeah. 3 is widely regarded, I guess, as the weakest of the 3, but it does have some of the more fun characters. I think Skate was on that.
That Skate was on 2, wasn't it?
Oh, was he on 2?
I think so.
Which was the one you were not the kangaroo on? I can't remember. 2 or...
That's probably 3. I don't know. 2 was my favorite. 1 was great.
Yeah.
But then 2 came out and just made everything better about 1. Sounds pretty good. I don't know, man. I didn't play it, but it's on Game Pass, so...
It's worth your while. The music's still great. Like it's got the original composers in there. They've got a few new tracks in this, but the majority of the music comes down to a French chap who's basically responsible for putting all the stuff together, including a couple of new composers and also mixing the old tracks in there. So this Oliver Deriviere, he's been involved in a few kind of well-received games. I think we've got somebody in our community at the moment playing through A Plague Tale: Innocence. He did some of the sound on that. Some of the quite an atmospheric kind of spooky game to play through, and he's been involved in that. Greedfall, Dying Light 2, which comes out at the end of this year maybe. But you've still got Yuzo Koshiro and Motohiro Kawashima's soundtrack in there. You can play with just that soundtrack if you want to. You can pop into the menu and be like, I want to play through to the old Streets of Rage or Streets of Rage 2 tunes, and just have that if that's what you want in the experience. It's a fun time. It looks gorgeous. The sprites are great.
Oh man,
they kind of got away from the pixel sprites, and it's sort of hand-drawn comic book look to it, unless you unlock some of the old characters, because you can still play with them in pixel form if you want to. But yeah, it does a great job of making it look like a retro game, but also new and shiny, and something that doesn't look out of place on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox and PC, wherever you want to play it.
And Switch.
Sorry, Joel.
Oh, it's on the Switch too.
Oh yeah, Switch. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'll be triple dipping. Although you never know, it depends if it gets on sale. And I think it's actually getting a physical run again of not just limited run games. I think there's actually going to be a physical release of this as well from another company further down the line. So yeah, it's got its there's a couple of faults in it. I guess it does the same old thing that fight these games try to do. Repeated enemies, which has always been the case. And a couple of the bosses kind of, they team up a little bit. You might fight two people you've already defeated individually before and things like that. But On the whole, it's a fine game. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Probably took about 6 hours maybe just to get through it.
Oh, wow.
Died a few times
Decent.
just to drop the difficulty down, but it's good. It's good for your money. I think the mechanics make it replayable. Make it well worth replaying.
6 hours is pretty good, man. I was like 1 to 90 minutes maybe in the old games, right? I mean, you get through them pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I did replay stages and stuff. Like I took my time with it. I fiddled about with different characters, going through different levels. So I think by the time I'd finished the game, I had 3 different game saves, just for replaying a couple of different levels as I was going through and stuff like that. Typically, each level is only about 12 minutes long, I guess, 12 minutes or so. And I think there's 12 stages, give or take. But yeah, there's different trophies you can get and achievements you can get for doing different things on different levels with different characters. So that kind of pulled me into going through a couple of different ones again. But yeah, worthwhile for me.
Awesome. What's the price point, man, on PlayStation? How cheap is this
I
guy?
was surprised, actually. I was expecting it to be over 20 quid because I looked at this, I think I mentioned on the show before when I was looking at the limited run version, which was about $35 or something, or $39. With shipping, it was $54 for me. So when I saw this on the PlayStation, it was £17.99 with a little discount for Plus users.
Yeah, I think it's like 25 in the US up here because I was kind of eyeing that game and whatnot, and it's like 35 up here, maybe 33. So one I might take a harder look at when it comes down a little bit. Maybe it gets onto a sale around $20 or whatnot. It's just with the exchange, it's kind of I gotta pick and choose what I'm picking up right now. So
for sure, and there's no rush to pick it up. Like
okay.
It's timeless in it.
But the art style looks amazing. One thing that kind of blew me away. It almost looks like a fighting game now, like the way Street Fighters and Tekkens have evolved to really, really flashy, a lot of bright colors. It looks so fun. They just bring you in. You want to pick up a controller and give it a go and whatnot. So yeah, definitely I'm going to keep on the radar.
Yeah, it's 2-player online as well, mate, so we can jump in. It's 4-player couch co-op if you have got buddies around. Probably not at the minute, given the circumstances, but in the future. And it's got like a little arena battle mode as well. You can jump in and just beat each other up. Kind of like reminded me a bit of Tournament Fighters, the Turtles game, where you can just jump in and fight on there. But yeah, definitely worth picking up. I think it's a real good time.
Now, is it an easy platinum?
Oh hell no. No, I think 90% of these trophies are fine. Yeah. They're attainable. Play through the game as Axel, play through the game as Blaze, blah, 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 blah. So just finish each stage as each character. But there's a trophy in there. I think it's a gold one to get I think you got to finish each stage on like the hardcore difficulty or whatever.
Nope.
And you've got to, I think, get an S rank or something on each of those stages as well. So there ain't no way that I'm even if all the enemy paths and stuff were repeated and you could memorize them, there's no way. Because some of these enemies do cheesy attacks and stuff. They'll get through you. Some of them guard and stuff. Like it's impossible.
Yeah.
For me anyway. But then there are easy plats out there. Though.
We got like 5 platinums here that we're going to talk about. 5 easy plats. Karl, what you got in the bag there? What was your easy plat over the past couple?
Well, it is. You know what? It is easy. It's a bit of a cheat though. The game I platinumed is Conan Exiles. So this is it was free on PlayStation Plus actually. This is the only reason I picked this game up, and I thought, it's an MMO, like a survival kind of MMO. And I thought, I like my MMOs. I might give this game a go at some point. Funcom bought it out a couple of years ago, and it was free exactly a year ago. I think April 2019. And I'd kind of read a few things about this game. Like if you booted it up, you can basically choose to run your own server, like an online server with just you in it, if you want to do that. And you can enter an admin panel where you can basically do whatever you want. You can make yourself invincible. You can give yourself 100 levels. You can, summon whatever kind of weapons or housing, materials or anything that you want. So when I first saw a trophy playthrough for this game, and I was like, and this is a big install, dude. It's like, I don't know, 90 gig or something sat on my hard drive.
What?
Yeah. So I'm like, I've got to get rid of this beast, man. I've got to do
90
something with it.
90.
Yeah, it's something like that. I'm sure it is. It's a big game.
It sounds like some really inefficient patches right there. 90 gigs. Jeez.
It might not be 90, but it's definitely somewhere between 60 and 90, I'm sure. 90 rings a bell. But yeah, I remember like watching a couple of YouTube videos, and they're like, right, all you need to do is load yourself into your own server and basically complete the correct milestones to unlock the trophies. And you can just make yourself invincible, summon all the enemies to you, kill all the bosses, like just summon them straight to you, just using this admin panel on there. So I was like, okay, I can do that. It's a bit, just to get rid of it, get the plaque, get rid of it. But there was one trophy on there, which was an online trophy. So a few weeks ago, I put out a bit of a cry for help, and I was like, and I messaged Shane first of all, and I was like, dude, have you got to, I know he picks up his free, his platinum games. I'm like, Conan, Exiles, did you grab it? And you were like, man, I didn't grab that. I don't think I saw it. And it could well be it was maybe on Plus for Europe and not for you, mate. I don't know.
And that was my response, word for word, just for the record.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I definitely wouldn't recommend buying this game. Obviously, I only platinumed it because it was free on Plus. But big shout out to Justin over at the Last Save Loaded podcast. He very kindly offered to help me, downloaded the game, and jumped into an online session with me just for 5 minutes or so, just so I could get that last trophy and get that little platinum. So, yeah, not one I'd recommend, and not one I'd certainly recommend buying either. But if you have got it installed and you want to get that platinum, do it sooner rather than later, because at some point they'll close that online server down and they'll get rid of the game. And obviously that platinum will not be achievable. So, if you have got it and you want to do it, hit me up. I don't mind helping you out. Although I have deleted the game, so we'll have to reinstall it, but we'll see. We'll see if I have to.
It should take like 2 days to reinstall that. That's excellent.
Right?
Yeah, dude, I'm on my internet, yeah. Although I might have solved my connectivity issues, so. But yeah, not the best platinum in the world, but it wasn't too hard. Probably took me about an hour all in to do all of it, so nothing too painful.
Decent. Well, if you don't have an hour and you only got like 20 minutes, boy, do I have a couple games for you. So that's one platinum. We got 4 more to go. We got 2 plats. Basically the same games. These are from our good friends at Radalika Games. Best quick and easy platinums out there. Fantastic. Where would our lives be without them? These are 2 visual novels. So you just basically read or skip through a lot of reading and then make a selection of what to do next, kind of a choose your own adventure. There's definitely lots of guides out there to make it super quick and easy. First one is called Blind Men, and you just give the right answers and everything and skip through a lot of text, and in about 20 minutes you'll have a platinum, and fire it up on the Vita, go through exactly the same thing again, you get another one. And the other one is Syrup and the Ultimate Suite, which is exactly the same type of game. So there's 4 easy platinums, probably cost you $10 or whatever to get them both. Real cheap. That's the big plus with these games. A lot of times they're like $5. Sometimes you see them on sale, they're like $1.99 or something, or 99 cents. Easy way to kill, 45 minutes and whatnot, and have a couple extra platinums on your trophy case to spit on them and shine them up real nice and show all your friends. It's fantastic. So
nice.
The trophies on the case, not the EP.
I must admit, there is a sale on at the moment on the EU store with loads of their games for sale at the moment. So I have looked at this one, with both of these. There's another visual novel one in there as well. I think Date Night or First Date or something. I've seen that on there. So get
One Night Stand.
That's it. One Night Stand.
Yeah, One Night Stand game. Yeah, I saw that.
Something like that. Yeah, it's a date night, isn't it? Well, it is for me.
And our good friend Tim Pollen nailed Iron Snout. Or Iron Snout, which is a quick and easy platinum. So I think he nailed that in the past day here or so. So shout out to him for easy plat.
Yeah, big shout out to Tim for that. He also gave me a heads up on another one that I picked up probably a few months ago, Adam's Venture Origins, which I'm probably going to get nailed through for the show. So use a guide for that, I reckon. But yeah, and also see the community piping in with a few of these. I like it.
I like it too. Tweet at us at A Band of Gamers. Give us some good, easy PlayStation Platinum trophies. We'll retweet them. And at the same exact moment as I'm retweeting them, because Shane and Karl will be distracted downloading the games to get the Platinums. Let us know.
Yes.
Keep us posted at A Band of Gamers. Give us your easy PlayStation Platinum trophies. You know what else would be helpful? Reviews. Been a while. Why don't you leave us a review on iTunes? Do us a solid. Tell us how we're doing. Leave a review, leave a rating. And also do that on Spotify, I think, and a few other services, wherever you're listening. Look and see if you can leave a review there. We'd appreciate it. Go to our blog, abandofgamers.com/blog, where Brad continues to kill it on recommended records. He has got a really good one this time around. There's a new album from Testament. Testament, the Bay Area thrash metal band from the 80s.
One of your favorites.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
They're still around. I saw him like 5 times back in the late 80s, early 90s. I think I saw every metal concert that came through town back then. But Testament was that they were my pride and joy because Alex Skolnick, that guitar player, just shreds. And he knows his way around the guitar. He wasn't just like shredding for the sake of shredding. He had some good chops, melodic, all those goofy scales and just great sounding stuff. Very, very adept at playing. Went on to do some jazz stuff for a while. And Testament was kind of weird without him. But he's back. He's been back for a couple albums. And Chuck Billy, the singer, he's in rare form on this one. He's going all the way back to kind of a different, more melodic approach to the vocals.
Nice.
They just got off a tour. They went and toured through Europe with Death Angel, another one of my favorite Bay Area thrash bands from the 90s. And they all got coronavirus. So they came back. They were all sick. They had to get healthy. So do them a favor. You know, they survived coronavirus for this record. Give this Testament Titans of Creation album a spin. Hit up our Discord. You can find a link to our Discord on whatever device you're listening. Join us over there. It'd be great to have you. Good conversations. Listen to the album. Give it a review. And in less than a week, depending on when you listen to this, go to our website and check out Brad's thoughts and whatever the next album he'll choose for the recommended record of the 2-week period. Before we do some spoiler chat on Red Dead Redemption 2, which, by the way, is now on Game Pass. So if you haven't played it yet, great time to do so, especially if you've got that Game Pass. You can send us an email, abogpod@gmail.com. Let's do some spoiler talk. So if you're interested in playing Red Dead Redemption 2, this is your warning. You turn it off now with permission. We hate when you turn it off, but now you can. Go ahead. Turn it off. Karl just walked away, so we don't have to hang up on him, Shane.
Rip.
But we're gonna chat up a little Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I'm not really prepared. I just want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's what we do. We converse.
Yeah, that's a good point. Karl's doesn't even have his headphones on yet. So Arthur, main character.
Yes.
You okay with this, Karl? Now that you get your headphones back on, we can chat up some Red Dead. We're not gonna. You can close your ears. I mean,
No, I'm fine. I felt like I wasn't prepared, like I wasn't able to represent in cowboy style to my contribution. So I thought I'd try and look the part instead. Hold on.
Okay.
So he took his pants off.
Oh my God, he's got a cowboy hat.
He's got a 5-gallon.
Nice.
Idiot.
Sure is.
All right.
This is actually my download hat, but it really keeps the sun off when I'm rocking out and drinking. And carry on, boys.
Yeah.
So main character Arthur, where you start this game, it's a prequel to Red Dead Redemption, the first game. And took a little while to get interesting. Karl mentioned it on the last show. Pick on you a little bit, Karl, here, but you said he was not intriguing. Just wasn't an intriguing character.
I mean, I put a good chunk of time in. Okay, when you said, John, about how long you put into it, and I thought, I wonder how long I played this for on the Xbox. I think from memory, I think I did about 35 hours.
Yeah.
Now, to me, he seemed quite dull. It just seemed quite devoid of any kind of fight or passion, or it was very subtle, I guess. Now, obviously, his character evolves throughout the game, and I stopped playing. I think I was in chapter 3.
Yep.
We'd kind of moved to the outskirts of a town in some kind of swampland, and I was fishing with Dutch and another dude whose name escapes me, but that's where I kind of jumped off, and I was like, okay, I mean, it was getting somewhere, kind of. But just for me, I wasn't invested in the character, really. The only scene that really got me, and you might talk about it in a bit, is a particular scene where he has a few beers, and all, and that I thought was brilliantly written. It was one of my favourite scenes in a game for a while. That was really, really good. So I don't know if there's more of that, but that was one of the only times I was like, oh, I like this guy, but it was too few and far between.
He goes out and gets shittered. He's been pretty dull, but you know what? I like this guy.
Is that the scene?
That was actually like the first, like, really, really cool thing. I mean, at least I thought was, really, really cool. All right, they're doing this, and then he walks outside and relieves himself in first person, and it's all kind of hazy and fantastic. I thought that was really, really cool as well.
That's that scene with Lenny, right? Where he's at the bar.
Yeah.
And then Lenny disappears. Like they're chatting and then he's gone. He's like, Lenny, yelling, Lenny, where you at? And then he's like, everybody looks like Lenny because he's wasted.
Yeah.
He's walking up to different people like, hey, Lenny. And it's like, it's not Lenny. And then you find him and then you're wasted again and you lose him again. And yeah, that was a pretty good scene. But I thought the opposite. I mean, I thought that Arthur got very compelling. And you're right. It probably took a good 20 hours, but the same with the story. The story also is not compelling for a while, but once it gets there, it grabs you. And the same is true with the main character, Arthur. I think he was just doing what the gang wanted him to do. He was pulling the line, towing the rope, just doing what he should do. That's why he was boring, I think, or maybe not intriguing. But then
for me, I'm kind of with Karl on this as well. He wasn't intriguing to me because this was a prequel. You knew where the story was going to go. You knew he wasn't going to last in the end. So I didn't feel any need to get tied to him because I knew where it was going. It ain't going to matter. His stories ain't going to matter until about the end of chapter 5, beginning of chapter 6. And he's walking down the street and starts coughing. And that was when, for me, the whole game just kind of like, okay, all right, now the bar is officially open. Here we go. Now we're getting some real meat. And from that moment on, then I was all in on Arthur. Then that pulled me in, and I was like going for this dude. Like, fuck yeah, man, Arthur, let's do this, Yeah,
I forget which character it was. Maybe Sadie tells him you have to go see the doctor. So he's in that main, like, big city.
Saint Denis
goes to the doctor. The doctor tells him he has tuberculosis. So at that point, you realize his days are numbered. And that's also where his towing the line sort of stops. He's like, okay, I know I'm going to die now. So he doesn't tell anybody. Keeps it a secret, even though everybody knows, because he's like, that Micah character is teasing him, calling him like a iron lung or black lung or something.
Hey, black lung.
Yeah, because he's hacking all the time, and he's sick. But he doesn't tell anybody. Just goes about his business, and then he starts to
testament to how great the writing is. Like Joel said earlier, is from this moment on, you can see every time he's on screen and whatnot, his eyes they redden. You can tell, like, his skin's getting more and more flushed, and you can see it on him, and it takes you with him, and it's not necessarily in the forefront, other than when Mike is teasing him and whatnot, but it's there, and it's just like that added thing that you pay attention, you notice this, like, and then it develops over the next few hours and whatnot. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's hard to know when he's gonna bite it and how he's gonna go. So it becomes very interesting. And he hangs on for quite a while. But then his morality choices go from I'll do whatever's best for the gang. Even though he always seems to be morally responsible, he always favors doing the right thing. But at that point, he's like, I need to make something of my life. I need to not go out like being a loser gang member. So he leans. Then it's where it kind of hits on with the John Marston that we know and love from the first Red Dead. He starts to invest in that character. Like, I need to make sure, because John Marston's got a wife, a son. Obviously, if you played the first one, I need to make sure that I save them. No matter what happens, I want to save those 3. That becomes like the plight of him feeling good about himself. So when I die, as long as I get those 3 out of here, I'm going to feel okay, like my life was worth it. And then you've got the other, like one of the main characters, Dutch, who runs the whole gang. And I just read a theory the other day on the internet. My wife actually texted this to me, which this is how Google works, right? I'm looking at stuff and then Google's like, oh, you're looking at that? So here's this. Puts it on our feeds or whatever. And she saw it and she texted it to me. And it was somebody's theory that Dutch's head wound caused him to go downhill as far as being a bad person. He maybe like had some head trauma. And there's a scene in the game where he, I think, crashes the wagon and smacks his head. And it's like he gets up and he's like, I'm all right. I'm all right. But there's a fan theory that says that he wasn't all right, that he really took quite a hit to the noggin.
Wild.
And it caused him to really kind of go into these really poor decisions. The story, though, in the game leads you to believe that you're learning the true colors of Dutch, that he's always been an a-hole. And you're just, as their gang becomes more and more desperate in these dire situations, he starts to fight back. He keeps calling, throughout the game, he calls Arthur his son. And then later in the game, Micah, who's a total jerk, he calls Micah his son. Then you see the gang start to split at the point where Arthur is now becoming not healthy and can't maybe hang and do all the things he could early on. You see Dutch start to split away from him a little bit and start to not trust him anymore and start to accuse him. Like, the cops were on us the instant we robbed that bank. Arthur, you're a snitch, turned us in, and started to really turn on Arthur, which is kind of a bummer. You see Arthur give his whole life to that gang and toe the line, right? And then only for Dutch to turn on him. And that's where you really start to feel for him. Not only does he have tuberculosis, but he's starting to get jerked around by people who he's given his whole life to. And the guy's life is a mess. He's going to hell or he's going to prison. One of those two things if he doesn't die. And he's just trying to make something of it. And that's where it becomes very compelling, him as a character. Yeah. And it does take a lot of hours to get to that point. But I really felt for that man. And then he eventually does pass away. But he puts everything in, all his eggs in saving John Marston, which was great. I mean, I love that part of the game. I didn't cry when Arthur passed. Like, I felt like emotional about it, but I'm like, he accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. So you almost feel good, like, okay, he died. I knew that was coming, but he successfully let John Marston escape. So it's almost like a win, like it's a success.
Yeah.
But when his horse died, dude, I almost wanted to cry. I was totally bummed out. Every time the shit would hit the fan, I would be, where's my horse? Where's my horse? Because I made it through the whole game with that same horse. Never lost my horse.
Nice.
And there at the end, and there's a scene where the horse takes it pretty hard. And we thought the horse was going to. Okay, no, it is after I'm getting my story confused. It is after the horse passes, where he gets down on the horse and he just thanks him. Thank you for everything. And I just was pretty close to bawling at that point. Like, oh no, I'm an animal lover, right? So, I mean, that was rough. I had a harder time when that horse died than when Arthur died.
When that happened for me, it was kind of random. It felt like it didn't seem like anything out of the ordinary that had, not happened previously. Like, I've been shot at, 1,000 times and whatnot. And then it's just kind of like, wait, okay, that just took the horse down, and then he gets down and whatnot. And after something, okay, that it's just one of those things that has to happen in the game. It's part of the story and whatnot. But it just when that happened, it kind of left me confused. Like, okay, was I not quick enough? Did I zig when I was supposed to zag? Like I didn't get that, but that was, but then afterwards realizing that, okay, well, I think that's supposed to happen. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And there's just a ton of morality after he gets the tuberculosis and after he decides he needs to make good on his life, not only saving John Marston, but a few missions, which I'm not even sure were required. They probably were, but it was saving the Indians or fighting for the Indians. The Indians are doomed.
Yeah.
Let's talk about knowing the ending. We know what happens to the Indians, right? They don't have a chance. The white man's going to take all their land and it's not going to turn out well for them, unfortunately. But then he's fighting for them and he's working for the Indian chief and the Indian chief's son, and a lot of morality there. And it was that also kind of hit a little close to home. I'm very disgusted with the way my country's history with those Indians. I'm just disgusted with the way we treated those people. And that it hit close to home, and I probably written that way on purpose. You start to feel for those people and their inevitable demise. And Arthur trying to make good, fighting for them. It was a nice tie-in, a well-written tie-in.
Yes, I like that. That was another thing I really, really enjoyed, was just that indigenous tie-in and whatnot. And that living here in the Pacific Northwest, and Joel as well. In the Midwest there, I mean, it's some deep roots for the indigenous, and there's a lot of totems, huge culture out here and whatnot, and that's just it's such an interesting period in human history and whatnot, and to see that being tied in, it's part of the reason why Assassin's Creed 3 was one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games, even though it's not the best, or people don't like it, who cares, but just having that having an indigenous character in there do that with his bloodline and whatnot was just fascinating for me. And this no different. I mean, it was drawn right into it. It was just brilliant, and yeah, I love that. It just added sprinkled a different flavor onto the story. Takes you a little bit away from the whole Dutch thing, and then Dutch gets back involved, and of course he's just right asshole and whatnot, and Arthur's fighting for him and whatnot, and it's fantastic.
Interesting too, but Dutch being he's the gang leader, but also the bad guy. He's the entire bad conscience of what's wrong with the world. The world is evolving and changing and becoming more modernized, with industry and plumbing and proper food, not hunting out in the forest for it. You see the transition from the old world, old West, more of a modern times, a car, that you can see things starting to change over. And then your leader, Dutch, sort of becomes the bad guy. Early on throughout that game, you're working together. You may not agree with him, but you're on the same team. And then late in the game, those last two chapters, he becomes the bad guy.
Yeah, he gets real sinister in it.
Even though you're working with him,
yeah.
he's the evil. The way he takes down some of the other characters, your bad guys, the way he takes them down just becomes complete lack of respect. And then he starts helping the Indians, but in a selfish way, so that he can advance his escape and his funds. And he's trying to get everyone to fight each other so that they can sort of escape and ride off into the sunset with all the money. That was part of the morality too, where you're feeling like him being a jerk is now him being a jerk to the Indians that you're now trying to help. And even though you're on the same team, really added an additional dynamic. So Arthur dies, John Marston escapes with his son, with his wife, which is great. Then we get to the epilogues. And I've seen a lot of complaints about the epilogues, that they're long, that they're 8 to 10 hours or whatever. I thought they were perfect. I mean, I'm really glad that the game, the epilogue is really about making that transition between the second and the first game so that they flow smoothly. And amazing writing that they had that first game and they were able to go back. It's not Star Wars. It's not George Lucas making part 4, but having some idea of parts 1, 2, and 3, which I'm sure, Shane, that makes sense to you, right?
course.
But it was like they had to like back into it. They already made the first Red Dead, but they had to come up with some fake story that fed that first game, and just brilliantly written the way they kind of created everything that just tied right in that first game. And that those two epilogues get you, I mean, it really bridges the gap between this great story in the first in Red Dead 2 and where you start off in the original Red Dead game. But then also John Marston just goes back and like is reconnecting with the gang. I thought it was a really great kind of tie-in. It was you just lost Arthur at the end of the regular chapters, and you're feeling kind of crappy about it. And then, but John escapes, and it could have ended right there. And it just could have been like, okay, well, now we know that John's on his own, and there could have been a gap in the story.
Yeah.
But instead, they took the time to fill that gap. And I thought that gap fill was perfect. I loved it. I love playing as John Marston. I love seeing how he's trying to transition from gang member to just proper worker, employee,
Father, husband,
trying to do what's right, but then getting pulled back into, because of his past, he's trapped. He has to get pulled back into the bad stuff. It's all he knows. I love the epilogues. I thought that was great. And when they ended, I've seen this on the internet a lot, like, that was too long. The epilogues are too, no. I could have played 10 more hours of the epilogue. I thought it was great. I love the way it ties those two games together.
Yeah, after the epilogues were done, I felt, after I was going through, I was kind of playing, okay, this is dragging on a little bit. I got to go milk a cow or whatever and whatnot. It's like, okay, well, whatever, let me set up. But once it was all done, it's like, yeah, they really did right on it.
That's what always happens in games of that size as well. When you've come to the point where you've invested, 100 hours of your time, whether it feels like, oh man, this is almost over, or whether it's like, thank God this is over, and even if you enjoy, it can go either way. Like you can be really enjoying a game to the 60-hour point, get to the end, you're like, oh man, it's starting to drag now. I'm glad this is almost there. Or it can go the other way. It may well be, like I think we've all kind of said it's slow to start, it gets better as it gets longer. So at the end of this, Joel, Shane, were you kind of, man, I'm bummed it's over? Or when you got to the point, I guess when you got to the point where the epilogue started, were you like, oh, cool, there's more? Or were you like, I've got to play more?
For me, when the epilogue started, I was like, oh crap, there's more. Because it's at a point in the story where you just lost Arthur. It's at a good end point. It's at a normal movie style end point. Like, now what? I mean, I know they're going to like transition John Marston to the next story. But then as I got into John Marston's story and how he's learning to be a father and how he's learning to be a proper man, proper human, positively contributing to society while fighting the forces that are pulling at him in his past, it became very intriguing. And when the game was over, I wanted more. When the epilogues were over, I wanted more. So I left, I wouldn't say unsatisfied, very satisfied, but could have played another 10, 20, 30 hours. I was sad to see the game over. I'm very tempted to almost play Red Dead 1.
I was actually going to suggest you probably, yeah. I mean, obviously it's not nearly as long. I mean, the story is just, I mean, it's bang, bang, bang. Like it's just, it's full. It's really good. And I think that would be a great experience for you to jump in there and give it a go, right?
I fired up Red Dead 1 just to watch the intro.
Oh,
just to remember how it sort of connects. And that was all I needed. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I just wanted to make that transition over. But how about you, Shane? Did you feel happy it was over at the end or disappointed or wanted more? Or how'd you feel?
In the end, yeah, it was very satisfying. I was glad I trucked through it and got through it and experienced what, everybody was saying. I mean, I wasn't, I shit on this game a long time, of how boring and slow and whatnot, and getting through it, it changed my opinion. hey, everybody's entitled to change and change their opinion on experiences, and I did. And I'm the first to admit, my opinion changed. And it was very satisfied in the end. When I finished the epilogues, it's like, all right, that's good. That was plenty. I'm good. I don't need to play any more Red Dead or even a Rockstar game for a while now, because that was, that's a lot, and they all kind of play, the same and whatnot. But yeah, it was very, very satisfied in the end. Very glad I did it.
Comparing the two Grand Theft Auto franchise to Red Dead, I prefer Red Dead. I like that Old West motif. I think that it goes better to me than the more modernized gangster, who seems to be morally corrupt hell of a lot more than Arthur or John Marston, who have good tendencies, want to be a good dad, want to make good moral choices. The Grand Theft Auto is more like, the hookers, it's just a different.
It's more street gang.
Yeah, it's more shallow. It's didn't prefer the Red Dead.
I've played a lot of the Grand Theft Autos, and I have some great memories, playing the originals on PlayStation, the old top down, which I love. And then GTA 3, was just such a landmark game. And then Vice City, there's nothing like that at the time. It was incredible. Then the last one, 5, I think is absolutely brilliant. They got a really good balance with different type of characters. After Red Dead 2, I'm looking forward to how they're going to take pieces of that, what they've learned, what has worked so well, and bring that to a Grand Theft Auto and really get that, really make it. They can make a great story. They've proven that easily. Now, can they bring that to a GTA? That'll be the next one. Will be the one where I could really answer that question, because now they can do it. They've proved it. So let's see it.
Soundtrack. Great soundtrack. Not only the background music, the little flourishes, the behind the, as we usually say, you turn it down, you just kind of listen in the background. We said with a few albums, a lot of in the background, great music.
Yeah.
But the foreground music, when you get to those like monumental story moments where they push a song to the front and make you listen to it as you're riding your horse to the next scene. Excellent. Excellent soundtrack.
I don't think it's as good as the first one. I think the first one, those major points when those songs would start playing, going to be borderline untouchable in video games to me. Like, they were the right tune at the right time. They were, goosebumps. I think there's 3 big moments in the first game where that stuff happens, and each one is after, some shit goes down or whatnot, and it's just like, that alone drags you in, and keeps you going and whatnot. They're fantastic in the second game. Fantastic, excellent. There's more going on. There's more story. There's more moments like that. But I think the first one is still a bit better for me, and it's going to be tough to beat.
It's good. That's a good callback. I don't remember the first one as much. It's not as fresh in my mind. But that Willie Nelson Cruel World song, and then Josh Homme doing it again towards the end, I love that.
Yeah, no, that was nice. Yeah, and hearing Willie was, that was actually one of the better ones for me in the second game.
All right, 5 Gallon. What do you think, Karl? How you feeling, man? You didn't play through it. We left you out of the conversation. Sorry, pal. But,
that's okay. It was a conversation that needed to happen. It's all good. I don't think that I'll be playing it through. To be fair, like, I've never finished a Rockstar game, so I don't see this kind of pushing me over the edge. Whether it's I'm used to a rich storytelling in a game that I'm going to drop 100 hours into. And you could be right, like, this could get super, super good as it goes forward. Yeah, I don't know. I've got enough in my backlog already. I think if I depends how long the lockdown goes on. If we end up in this situation for the rest of the year, then I might be like, yeah, okay, I will play that now. But it's just nice that you two finished it and the conversation around it. It's good to have that kind of closure of it, I guess. Just to talk about the whole thing, and I'm proud of you both for getting through it, just because it's a massive, massive game.
And it just shows, it does it. We played it on different systems, different consoles we played it on, but still share the same experience, and that's what a lot of this comes down to me. It's just good gaming experiences and having games like Red Dead and whatnot, where we can have these conversations and push Karl over the edge and get him.
No, I'm not pushed over the edge, dude.
No, man. It's all good, man. The game will always be there till the end of time. There'll be a way to play Red Dead 2, and welcome to step up to the plate.
There's plenty of masterpieces out there, and they're not for everybody, but different things for different people in it. But yeah, it's certainly a classic. It's a top game, but just not for me.
Been a good year, man. I opened up our backlog spreadsheet, crossed another one off. God of War and Red Dead 2 in the same year. And now it's tough to follow those two games. Struggling to figure out what to do next. Probably some little tiny ones kind of in between here.
Yeah, you gotta stretch it out a little bit. That's a lot of gaming. That's a lot of gaming. Even those two games, Red Dead on its own is a lot. So I've been taking it light and just play some MLB, fire up the Vita a little bit, just different change of pace. And I keep thinking about what's going to be next, and I keep leaning towards Uncharted 2. I really do
Yeah.
I really want to do that one, man. That game can be so great.
Like I said, dude, if you do play through it, let me know. I'll play through it at the same time. We can have some conversations about it on the show. Why not?
All right. I saw Uncharted 4 was free on PlayStation Plus for a while. Nice.
Yeah.
I got the disc, but just great to have on the hard drive.
Same.
I had a good chat with my boss the other day, and this does have a tie into gaming.
Oh.
Yeah. And shout out to Jocelyn, if she's still listening. Thank you for listening, Jocelyn, my teammate. How cool she's been listening and supporting us.
Oh, excellent.
It's just fantastic.
Thank you.
But my boss, Alyssa, we were talking about my company's great. They're just really concerned about our well-being right now through this pandemic and what we're all dealing with. So we had a sort of a mandated, if you will, conversation about how you're doing, who in your family is dealing with anything, who's in your house, and just like taking a pulse of what's important right now for your personal life and what we can do together as a team to make sure we're all safe and feeling good and productive too. But we were talking about, one of the questions was, what are you doing to help kind of get through this right now? What have you found to make you happy? And for me, it was the morning gaming sessions. I'm just like, every morning I'd wake up at 4 a.m. and I'd play Red Dead Redemption 2 and it would be great. And then I'd come into work and I'd just feel really excellent. But I finished that game and now I got to find something else. And at the end of my conversation, she's like, go find that game. Go find that next game, And I'm like, all right.
That's awesome.
It's cool to hear my boss tell me to go find a new game to play. I'm like, this is rad.
Right?
All right. Well, now that you told me, now that it's a work thing. Yeah.
Right. No problem.
So cool.
That's awesome.
So how you guys doing, man? We're on bonus time. We're on side C right now. How you guys hanging? You doing okay?
Yeah, doing okay. I'm trying to reach out to everybody and catch up with everybody, and just trying to make sure you're checking in with buddies and checking in with you two, my brothers here. I'm doing good. Like, this whole thing is made for me in certain respects. It's getting a bit tough now. I haven't seen my son in 6 weeks, and that kind of bites. Like, especially as we're I don't know, we're pretty close, but what we do have is the ability to play online together, which we do a lot. We just played Fortnite before I jumped on with you guys, and we got a victory royale. The old man still got it.
Boy.
I tell you what, we did fun. Like, we're just jumping on, like, trying to find an hour here and there a couple of times in a week just to play a little bit of something. And he's, the boy's always been good at FPS games, and like he's a bit better than me at some of these now. But we got down to the last. There's 4 people left. We played duos in Fortnite, and there was these 2 guys who were built loads of stuff. We're like, oh man, this is crap. We're going to get killed here. So we used a jump pad to jump up in the air, and we used the boy as the decoy. So he went down, landed on the thing that they were building. He did a bit of damage to one of the guys, and he took him out. So he knocked Luke down and killed him. But while he was focusing on him, I landed in a tree, which you're not really meant to do. So I'm in this tree, like crouched down, and just like I kill the one dude. And Luke's still there on his headset going, I was like, where's the other guy? And he's like, he's there. He's on the ramp. He's on the ramp. And like, he dropped on the floor now. And he was my eyes while I was trying to get this dude. So I jumped off the tree and shotgunned him in the face. And then, it all just freeze frame me. And so we've now got the new season's umbrella as the Victory Royale. But, video games are great for me, for being able to keep in contact with him. I know there's a few other guys on Twitter, we're taking these government guidelines properly serious and, doing everything that you can. So, other than that, and the difficulty with that, everything's good, man. I'm, got money in the bank, saving cash, not doing anything, can't go anywhere. So, I even fixed my wireless internet problem here by getting one of these little plug-in Wi-Fi extenders into the wall. 40 quid, so not a massive outlay, and it's done the job quite nicely. So that'll do me.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Happy. Good productive weekend.
He's doing good as well. We're all getting back into the office. We've been rotating, having a couple of guys work from home, one guy in, to take care of, the invoicing and all that stuff that needs to be done. But yeah, we're all getting back in there and glad. I've worked with the same coworkers for nearly 13 years. So when all of a sudden now you're, away from them and whatnot, and it's not exactly a holiday, I miss these guys. I miss our banter. We got a good rapport and whatnot. So looking forward to there. I mean, be decent. Be nice to get back in there. And in the meantime, playing games at home, catching up with friends and whatnot has been a big help staying sane. And I've realized that I've used my PlayStation for games is like near the bottom of what I do. I'm not constantly having to play a video game or whatnot, but I get on there and I chat with friends and I'll have a couple beers, we'll, eat dinner and whatnot.
Beat them at FIFA.
Beat them at FIFA, at times. And just chat and just having that friendship and building those relationships it's been the best. So it's just, to me, it's, we'll play Uno or something, right? Just mindless, but we just lift each other up. Everybody has bad days. Everybody has good days, and spreading that around. You got a good day, and buddy's kind of whatever. Shut up, hop on. It's fucking chat. I already sent you 6 invites. Get in here. And that's what we do, and it's good friends, and likewise with my bros here, Joel and Karl. Everybody has good days and bad days, and just surround yourself by the people that lift you up.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
I saw a great quote. It was, "Pick your head up, your crown's fallen," and that's the way it is. Be that guy. Lift your friends' heads up. That's what we do, especially in these times. And we drink a ton of beer, because why not?
Oh yeah. Thank God for mail order beer.
I've been going down to Parallel to pick it up because they got like 10 off, and you come down there and buy it from them and whatnot. They're still, like basically like a curbside whatnot. They let one person there, so a couple new brews. But man, it's weird seeing that tasting room shut down. It's kind of sad to go in there, but you got to support them and keep supporting your local guys, and we'll get through it.
Well said, guys. Well said, Shane. Cheers, gentlemen. I'll raise my glass to that.
Cheers, boys.
Still a little beer in there, too.
Same.
All right. Until next time, 2 weeks from now, go check out that record. Leave some comments. Leave us a review. Look us up on Twitter. Give us some easy PlayStation Platinum trophies at A Band of Gamers.
Yes.
Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Take care. Stay safe. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.